Hello, nice to have you join us on the news at 5 on Channels Television. I'm Dominic Iwiwu, and these are the stories and reports we're tracking at the moment. President Bola Tinubu has approved the posting of 31 career and 34 non-career ambassadors to various countries and the United Nations. For non-career ambassadors, some of the postings include Senator Grace Bent to Togo, former Governor of Abia State Victor Ekpazu to Spain, former INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu to Qatar, and Mr. Reno Mokri to Mexico. Others are Mrs. Angela Adebayo to Portugal, Mr. Femi Fani-Kayode to Germany, and Mrs. Florence Ajimobi to Austria. For the career ambassadors, we have Ambassador Nwabiola Ezenwa Chukwuemeka to Cote d'Ivoire, Hamza Mohamed Saliu to Iran, Besto Maimuna Ibrahim to Niger, and Ambassador Clark Omeru Alexandra to Zambia. The Senate confirmed the ambassadors designate last December. Viewers can get a full list of the ambassadors and their postings on our website, www.channelstv.com. Wives and family members of military personnel detained for allegedly plotting a coup against the government of President Bola Tinubu are asking the government and the military hierarchy to charge the affected officers to court or be set free. Addressing journalists in an emotionally packed briefing in Abuja, the officers' wives asked the military to charge their husbands to court and allow them to prove their innocence. According to them, they are neither asking for a favor nor shortcut, but the constitutional rights of their husbands who cannot be treated as guilty without renouncement of a competent court. The women were flanked by human rights activist Omoyele Sowore and Deji Adeyonju during the briefing in Abuja.
Wives of military officers among the 16 officers accused of allegedly plotting a coup against President Tinubu are flanked by human rights activists Omoyele Sowore and Mr. Deji Adeyonju for a news conference on the alleged coup plot. According to the family members, some of the accused officers have been in detention for 160 days without being charged to court or tribunal, while family members face constant intimidation from the military.
There are inconsistencies that have raised serious concern.
In an emotionally packed conference, wives of the accused military officers appealed to President Tinubu and the military hierarchy to allow justice prevail.
Mr. President, the military public stated over 6 weeks ago that investigation had been concluded. If that is the case, justice must now move forward. We respectively request that trials commence immediately in an open court of law visible to all Nigeria. We do not want anything done secretly, please. To the Nigerian military, to the men and women of the Nigerian military, we are not your enemies. We are wives, mothers, children, and we struggle to understand how the same institution our husbands serve with dedication has now become the source of deepest pain. We respectfully ask for compassion, transparency. Grant us access to our husbands. Let us see them and know how they are safe and alive.
In a similar vein, human rights activists Omoyele Sowore and Deji Adeyonju asked the accused to be charged to court or be released.
I'm not a stranger to the offense of treason because under Buhari as a civilian, I was accused of trying to overthrow Buhari with my bare hands, trying to overthrow him by posting on social media. So I've seen these ridiculous charges before, and I know how government operates. We are asking that without delay, only 2 options are available to the government. Release these men, if there's any women around with them, and apologize to them, or present them for trial with immediate effect.
Nobody is defending anybody, but we are saying that where there is no genuine evidence, if there is coup, present them before a court of law. Lead evidence. Evidence is like smoke. It cannot be hidden. Lead evidence against them. But if there is no evidence, leave these people alone. Release them. Let them go and face their lives.
The Nigerian military had in January this year released names of 40 alleged coup plotters, including 16 military officers who allegedly plotted to overthrow President Tinubu. Although investigations were said to have been concluded, not much has been heard of their trials.
Our demand, Mr. President.
Now to security issues. Troops of the Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hiding Kai say they have successfully repelled coordinated terrorist attacks on military locations in Konduga, Mate, Jakana, and Mainok in Borno State. The attacks, which began around 10:30 p.m. and lasted until about 3 a.m., were met with strong resistance from troops who held their defensive positions despite the intensity of the assault. According to the military, troops responded with well-coordinated counter-offensives, forcing the terrorists into disorganized retreat after their attempts to overrun the military formations failed. During the fierce engagements, several insurgents fighters were neutralized, including some key commanders and amirs believed to be leading the coordinated assault. The military also reveals that although part of its facilities were damaged during the offensive, all affected bases remain under its control. The air component of the operation also provided multiple precision airstrikes on fleeing terrorist elements and hostile positions. However, the military confirmed that some gallant soldiers paid the ultimate sacrifice during the battle, including a courageous officer who led his men from the front. Suspected Boko Haram insurgents have attacked Ngoshe community in Goza local government area of Borno State, killing civilians and abducting several residents during a raid on Wednesday night. The attack has triggered panic across the area, forcing many villagers to flee their homes in search of safety. Unconfirmed sources say the attackers stormed the community in large numbers, shooting sporadically and overwhelming residents, with more than 300 people, including women and children, abducted during the assault, while thousands of others fled to neighboring communities to escape the violence. Channels Television gathered that the suspected insurgents also reportedly dislodged the military base in the community during the attack and carted away some weapons. In an amateur video obtained by Channels Television, the attackers claimed responsibility for the assault on Ngoshe, boasting about taking control of the town and threatening to expand their operations beyond the area. As of the time of filing this report, neither the military nor the Nigerian police force has issued an official statement on the incident. However, residents say many people from communities surrounding Ngoshe have fled toward Goza town or crossed into neighboring Cameroon Republic. River State Governor Sir Siminalayi Fubara has reaffirmed his administration's support for the Nigerian Air Force to strengthen security and curb oil theft in the state. The governor made the pledge while receiving the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sunday Aneke, during his first official visit to River State. Governor Fubara said the state's 2025 aircraft donation was meant to boost security operations, adding that plans to upgrade the Port Harcourt Air Force Base would improve operational efficiency. He noted that better security would protect lives and property and increase state revenue. Air Marshal Aneke described River State as strategically important and commended the government for its support. He also called for more collaborations to strengthen security surveillance.
Governance has three major responsibilities, and that responsibility, the key is protection of life and property. Secondly, schools, education, healthcare. It's not just we that are politically elected. You also have a major responsibility, and indirectly, you're also doing it for the good of the armed forces, the good of the people, and also good record of your own administration. The River State government, by the special grace of God, will give you every support that is required to ensure that these very genuine thoughts for a better society and a better environment for River State is achieved.
I would like to thank you for some key interventions the state has done for us as an Air Force. First is the handover of the Augusta 139 helicopter to the Nigerian Air Force, which I saw this afternoon. Very beautiful airplane. The delay in its operationalization, sir, is because it has not been used for some time, and as such will require a lot of funding to bring it up to speed. rehabilitation and resurfacing of the runway and apron at the NAF base Port Harcourt, including the fencing and provision of runway lights, is fantastic, sir.
The abducted traditional ruler of Ndufu Alike in Ikwo local government area of Ebonyi State, His Royal Highness Francis Igwe, has been confirmed dead days after his abduction. The monarch, who is the father of former Deputy Governor Kelechi Igwe, was reportedly kidnapped by suspected gunmen on March 1, 2026, while on his way to church in the Ndufu Alike community. Confirming the development, the spokesperson of the Niger Police Force in the state, SP Joshua Ukandu, said police operatives immediately launched an intensive rescue operation following the incident. According to him, the command deployed technical and intelligence assets, which led to the arrest of 2 suspects linked to the kidnapping syndicate. During interrogation, the suspects reportedly confessed that the monarch had been killed on March 2, 2026. They also led operatives to the gang's hideout, where other members of the criminal group opened fire on the police team. The operatives responded with superior firepower, neutralizing one of the hoodlums, while others fled the scene. The police has since arrested 7 additional suspects and recovered locally made pistols from them. Staying with security, the Lagos State Police Command is asking its officers to embrace the newly introduced state police agenda of the Inspector General of Police. Commissioner of Police in Lagos, Olohundare Jimo, while debriefing senior officers of the command on the new operational structure, explains that the state police will strengthen the operational capability of the force and enhance policing structure.
It's the first meeting by the Commissioner of Police in Lagos with divisional police officers, tactical and squadron commanders and other unit heads since the change of guard at the Force High Command. Debriefing the officers, the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Olohundare Jimo, speaks on some of the reforms by the new Inspector General of Police. Top on the agenda is the issue of state police, the trimming of the members of the tactical squad, and the consistency of police officers in combating all forms of crime to the barest minimum.
The introduction of state police is expected to enhance the overall efficiency of policing by allowing the federal police to concentrate more strategically on complex and transnational crimes such as terrorism, organized crime, cybercrime, trafficking networks, and other serious security threats that require national coordination and specialized capabilities. However, it is important to emphasize that state policing should not be misunderstood as a replacement for or a diminution of the Nigerian police force. Rather, it should be seen as a complementary structure within a coordinated national security framework.
The state police boss also spoke on the IG's pronouncement on downsizing the tactical squad across the country.
The tactical squad, they have been dissolved across the country, but gave us opportunity to retain only 5 tactical squads at the command headquarters level and 3 tactical squads at the area command and divisional level. This is to reduce the proliferation and the misuse of tactical squads across the country. And these have enforced and have implemented.
As the police warms up to embrace the state police model, Lagos residents, among other state actors, would expect to interface with government on the workability of the new structure.
And now to legal issues. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has granted bail to former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, his son Abdulaziz Malami, and his wife Asabe Bashir, in a sum of 200 million naira each. The court also ordered that each defendant must provide 2 sureties in like sum as part of the bail conditions. The court further ruled that one of the sureties must deposit title deeds of landed property located in highbrow districts of Maitama or Asokoro. In addition, the defendants were directed to surrender their international passports to the court pending the conclusion of the trial. Justice Joyce Abdul Malik also ordered that the defendants remain in the custody of the Nigerian Correctional Service until they meet the bail conditions. The trio were arraigned by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, and the case has been adjourned until March 16 for the commencement of trial proceedings. The federal government is set to commence the training of 750 youths in Taraba State under the Technical Vocational Education and Training Initiative of the Federal Ministry of Education. The step is to strengthen the country's technical and vocational knowledge through trainings on skills for youth employability and entrepreneurship, as well as to close the knowledge gap in Nigeria's digital landscape.
The federal government, through the Ministry of Education, is organizing this training for 750 youth in Taraba State under the Technical Vocational Education and Training Initiative and the Innovation Development and Effectiveness in the Acquisition of Skills to empower young Nigerians with employable and entrepreneurial digital skills. Co-founded by the World Bank, the initiative places a premium on a practical, hands-on training to close the skill gap in the labor market by engendering a skill entrepreneurship mentality while boosting productivity and self-sufficiency, aimed at building resilient and inclusive technical education systems.
It is no longer news that the Federal Ministry of Education, through federal government of Nigeria, have brought this flagship program not only to be empowered, but to become self-reliant and create jobs for themselves.
The training, which is tuition-free, has a wide scope of over 400 skills to be learned within 6 months and targets youth between the ages of 18 to 35.
Boost youth employability. If you see our youths today, they are running around, even graduates of first degree and second degree, they are running around the street looking for jobs, attending interviews here and there. So in order to boost employability of the youth, this skills acquisition program came into place.
Some challenges associated with data capturing of participants' biometrics is highlighted.
Now you have bought your biometric machines, and it is not compatible with our platform. And that is why we said you can be using both. For those that you can see on the dashboard, use it. Those you cannot see, use the manual attendance.
The government hopes to train 30,000 youth this year and believes that the initiative has the potential to be a transformative program in Nigeria's efforts to tackle youth unemployment.
In the world of business, the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry hosts its annual Security Meets Business Dialogue as part of its public sector engagement programs to create a platform for stakeholders in the economy to deliberate on the state of security in the country and its effect on the private sector. For 2026, the Chamber is asking for closer collaboration between the public and private sectors to achieve a secured economy.
It's the 2026 Security Meets Business Dialogue series organized by the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. In attendance are not just the members, but major stakeholders in Nigeria's security architecture. The Chamber notes that insecurity has become a measurable economic burden and a macroeconomic variable that directly shapes growth.
Insecurity translates into three major categories of risk. Operational. Factories shorten working hours, transport routes are altered, and supply chain becomes fragmented. Financially, farms face higher insurance premium, increased spending on private protection, elevate borrowing costs due to perceived instability. Investor can delay or relocate project to a safer jurisdiction. The President is an appointment of a new IG
Bringing the
of police,
executive perspective to the effort of quelling insecurity in the country is the Special Advisor to President Bola Tinubu on Economic Affairs, Mr. Tope Fashwa. He delivers a keynote address by the Vice President Kashim Shettima and captures what has been termed the most significant development in recent security discourse.
To restore the sanctity of the uniform and the confidence of the investor. Perhaps the most significant development in our recent security discourse is Mr. President's clarion call to the National Assembly to consider a constitutional framework for state policing. For too long, we have operated a centralized policing model in a decentralized federal reality. The atavistic adherence to a unitary security structure has often left our local communities and businesses vulnerable.
Both the public and private sectors agree that security is everyone's business, but the right architecture and laws are necessary to optimize participation by everyone.
Nigeria's insurance industry is being urged to deepen its reach into the economy as stakeholders push for stronger sector growth. At the 2026 Insurance Sector Consultative Forum, Chairman of Enterprises NGR, Iwoje Aikimokade, called for a significant increase in insurance penetration, advocating that insurance premium income should contribute at least 3% to Nigeria's gross domestic product. The call comes as industry leaders intensify efforts to transform the sector and expand coverage across the country.
The greatest source of growth for any economy is investment, and the lever by which that growth is achieved is through the financial and professional services sector. And so we want to have a very vibrant financial and professional services sector. One of the professions and services across the world in economies that is very important is insurance, and that's why we have focused on the insurance subsector at this time. We will also go on to others. And the whole idea is to achieve a level of relevance of insurance in the economy that is much higher than what it is today.
The essence of this gathering to me is to begin to now go beyond just putting in the law in place, but to now begin to implement all of the pieces of legislation that you have in the law. And that's the only way you can move the insurance industry forward.
Nigeria's federal government has rolled out a $750 million solar mini-grid initiative aimed at expanding electricity access across the country through large-scale off-grid renewable energy projects. The program, being implemented by the Rural Electrification Agency, is expected to deploy about 1,350 solar mini-grids nationwide and catalyze roughly $1.1 billion in private sector investment to improve power supply in underserved communities. Officials say the initiative, described as one of the largest publicly funded renewable electricity programs globally, will boost energy access, support economic activity, and accelerate Nigeria's transition toward cleaner power sources. The federal government has inaugurated a steering committee to work out the framework for the establishment of the Cotton, Textile and Garment Development Board as part of efforts towards revitalizing Nigeria's cotton, textile and garment sector and stimulate economic growth in line with the renewed hope agenda of the Tinubu-led administration. While inaugurating the steering committee in Abuja, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, in a statement by his office, explained that the decision to establish the Cotton, Textile and Garments Development Board aligns with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu, which prioritizes economic diversification, job creation and industrial revitalization. And that's it on the news at 5. I'm Dominic Iwiwu. Up next is The World Today. Enjoy the rest of your evening.